Good morning and welcome to the Elevate Renatus team call. This is your host, Keely Austin. Today is Takeoff Tuesday. It is Tuesday, April 28th, and we have a phenomenal trainer we get to learn from today who is going to share with us what's been working for him and just whatever he feels like sharing regarding this business. That's what I love about these trainings is we are learning from people who are really being very successful with Renatus, both on the marketing side and the real estate side. And so these trainers get to choose whatever they wish to train on. So I look forward to hearing what Bill has to share with us today. A little bit of information about Bill if you're new to these calls. Bill, before Renatus, was a pro skier for 10 years in Vail, Colorado. He realized he was not qualified to do much else, so he looked for other opportunities, and he actually ended up buying some stores, and he got into the franchise world. Due to lack of knowledge, that ended up costing him the business, and he lost everything. And so in 2007, he heard about real estate investing. He didn't have education, so he attempted to try this real estate investing thing on his own, and he ended up in over $400,000 in debt during the 2008 crash. Then he found Renatus, and Bill made 8 times more in his first year in Renatus than he did the previous year as a loan officer and a realtor. So he really took this education and this system and put it to work. And fast forward to today, Bill has now done around 150 transactions. He's been in Renatus around 10 years, so he's got a lot of experience to share with us. He's grossed multiple 7 figures in real estate. He's also a marketing leader. He is on the PIT team with our CEO, Bob Snyder. The PIT means that you're in training to be on the PAC, and the PAC is the President's Advisory Council. We are very fortunate to have Bill as our trainer this morning. Good morning, Bill. You sound like a chipmunk today. I can hear you, but you sound like Chip.
Can you hear me now?
There you go. You sound good.
Yeah, I don't know. It changes speakers every time on these, so that's why.
Haven't done that in a long time.
I haven't. That's because usually I remember to go check it every time for like religiously, and today I didn't do it.
Oh, okay.
Right on. Thanks for the intro. Thanks for putting this together as always. You are awesome. Congratulations on your recent success as well. And you're, more importantly, even more than the results, which are coming, you know, they get postponed, they get put off, they get readjusted, whatever the case is, but they come. But the biggest thing is the change in perspective, right? The change in not work ethic, because that's always been there, just the change in belief and attitude. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today. So I just think it's awesome to see, you and what you've been able to do over the last couple of months with COVID, taking your business to the next level. And that's a level that you're gonna double and triple in the near future as well. So it's just really cool. And you lead by example. And I tell you, it's inspiring when people lead by example. So it's awesome. I really appreciate being introduced by you and having you be a part of this.
Thank you, Bill. Likewise, it's fun to introduce you.
Absolutely. Folks, I am going to, good morning, everybody. Thanks for the hellos. I'm going to type in 760-533-3141. 760-533-3141. That's my cell phone number if you ever need to reach me. And all of you know, if you are interested, feel free to chat it up. You can just throw in a question, throw in a topic that you want to talk about, something that's on your mind. I'm going to kind of go all over the place. I did make some notes. There you go. Michael Huggins, I do not have a little computer to put notes in. I probably have a phone that has notes in it. It's like $1,000 phone, $1,100. I use $100 of this phone. So working on that, hiring an assistant. So, but I have some notes and some thoughts. And, you know, I was just thinking, it's interesting because Keely goes, hey, you know, make sure you're on the founders webinar, you know, make sure you're checking on your back office and your events and all that. And we all know that as business owners, you know, we're here because we're doing marketing training, and marketing development and understanding of the Helios and Renatus and the systems and stuff like that. But it's up to you, obviously. But more importantly, like being told, and not that Keely's telling you what to do, but I mean, like when we hear these things, right? We hear it from our team, like my team. Kevin will send out an email, "Hey folks, you know, see you on the call tonight." Like we get it, but it doesn't always fit into your schedule. Like this call that you guys are making every morning is awesome. I think it's an amazing. I mean, I have to tell you, I think for me, it's definitely really helped my business. I started listening to this call when they started it, and now it's been 3 years, maybe or more. 3 years, I think. I started, yeah, and it's just really made a big difference in my business. I love this morning call. So today, it's still, as you guys know, I listen to this call every morning. I got a question already, which is awesome. What is a good response to someone that loved the education but will not invest because they don't know what is going to happen during this time? I'm getting a lot of that. Well, I have a lot of responses to that. So obviously it's going to depend on, and you can't give me the whole breakdown, so I get it. So it's going to depend on this communication you have with them. Number one is, whenever I get an objection, the first thing I want to do is take a step back before I respond. A lot of times I'll respond right away on a text or an email, usually text. And now if I'm in one-on-one with them, it's different if I'm face-to-face. But even so, I'm going to take a second and reflect. Typically, I can reflect a little easier when I ask a question immediately, which is like, "Hey, can you explain?" Or "What do you mean by that?" Or where I can buy a little bit of time with a question. But if it's text or whatever, then, generally speaking, I don't want to overcome an objection with text. So it's going to be a conversation. So this is what it looks like. Number one is, I always, as you guys know, we always want to, there's whatever excuse they're using, whatever objection, it's not unrealistic. It's not like, Michael being like, "Great, that's the reason why you need this," right? That is totally true. But we still verify, we still acknowledge and appreciate whatever it is that they're saying. So, so that is important. But then I'll move to a question. So the only way to overcome objections is with questions. Not the only way. An easier way to overcome objections is with questions. So if someone's talking about this time, it makes sense. Like, I just read a post from somebody that I know from high school who I was shocked that they feel that way about the governor of Michigan, that they're behind her and all this stuff. So anyway, people are afraid. I read another post this morning, and it was real quick, but one of my investor friends here, a very powerful investor in town. And he's like, the sheeple, call them sheeple with the mask and stuff. And many of you may wear masks all the time. So it's either way, whatever the belief is with the COVID, it's okay. Now, so to answer your question, long story short, is that if I have to go back to, hey, what is it you're looking for, right? And so one of the gentlemen that I just enrolled, Ryan, he too was concerned with it. Him and his wife, it's definitely a thought process. They got enrolled a month ago in the combo. I mean, he absolutely loves the education, and he's so fired up. We've already worked on 3 deals. I mean, they didn't come to fruition, but he's out there. It was a little cart before a horse. But I said this to him. I said, "You know what? What do you want to feel like? Why are you doing this in the first place, right? Like, what would be the reason you want to even get educated?" Well, I want, whatever that answer, it's going to be the right answer. I want to do this. I want to do that. I need this for that. I've always wanted to do real estate, whatever it is, right? And then, you ask, like, literally, find out how they're feeling. Well, how are you feeling? Like, what is it about what's going on in this time that you're worried about? Like, is there a little fear that you're having? Are you concerned about finances and stuff like that? And they're going to say yes, right? They're going to say, whatever they say, right? So you're gathering your information. This is why you're asking these questions. It's because, do you want them ever to feel that way again? Do you ever want to feel that way? If you had the ability to change that process, like, do you think that we're going to have something else in our lifetime that's going to affect us that we can't control? I don't care if it's another pandemic, probably won't be. Maybe it will be. Maybe this is just the beginning. Maybe it's going to be an economy crash. Maybe it's going to be a recession. Maybe it's going to be whatever it is, some crazy election, whatever it's going to be. Do you think that we're going to have something out of our control and it's going to affect the way our business is, our economy is, and our stock market and our real estate market? Yes. Great. In that case, do you ever want to feel the way you feel right now, out of control? No. So that is why now more than ever, in a time when you are feeling that pressure, when we come out of this and we eventually go back up and life is better, we're out and about, we forget. Time heals all wounds, right? We forget. The pressure's off a little bit. It's still there. We're still trying to make ends meet. But we bury that. We bury the fact that we're not going to be able to retire. We bury it in the back and things. So then we don't make decisions. We're not moved by any decision-making elements that force us to change and get out of our comfort zone, which is that fear, that scaredness, because we're okay. We're comfortable again. We're okay again for 10 years. So we don't move. So in this time, the time is now. Like, you want to be able to get educated now, because exactly what they said, they don't know what is going to happen during this time. I don't give a crap what's going to happen during this time. I don't care where we end up. If I'm still alive, then I have the power to buy real estate, to market this company, to have my rental properties, to liquidate assets, to leverage assets, to do whatever it is that I want, because I made a decision a while ago to have that information and not be a victim and not be controlled by things that I can't control, right? So that's the answer to that. Whether or not they enroll, it's going to get them thinking. The answer, but it's got to be through questions. They have to come to that determination. They have to come to that realization through your questions. And then it would make sense. They might not go, oh, you're right, I'm buying, but they might go, shoot, wow, I didn't think of it that way. Like it's only natural. It's a natural understanding and defense that you're going to say, you know what, I just want to wait. Like if the water is cold and we just got out of the winter and you're at the lake and you're like, are you going to jump in? It's natural to go, you know what, I'm going to wait a little bit. Like, that's just a natural instinct, right? But the whole reason you went to the lake is to get in the lake and go skiing or wakeboarding or whatever it is that you're doing, and you've got to get in the water. Like, it, you know what I mean? It's natural that we want to wait to subside. But when things subside, imagine what's going to happen. Like, if you say, what's going to happen when it subsides? Like, if let's just say we put the education off for a week, a month, everybody goes back to normal, what's going to happen? Well, they're going to open up a restaurant. Yep. Okay. And are you going to go? Yep. Are the kids going to go back to school? Yep. Are you going to start preparing for college? Yep. Are you going to start going back to work? Yep. So life is going to, and it's going to be so crazy because you haven't done it in 2 or 3 months, that are you going to have time to go buy education and set up a system where you can start learning education so you can buy real estate because you don't ever want this to happen again? Or are you going to be so consumed with day-to-day business again and day-to-day life, catching up for everything that you lost and getting back involved, that you're going to forget what you even felt like? Is that more likely going to happen, right? And they're going to be like, yeah. I mean, so we have to remind them that their exact reason for not doing this is why they should do it. And Michael says that the most. I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I don't understand. I don't have the knowledge. I don't have the relationships. I don't know anybody. and Michael, and that's the exact reason why you need Renatus. So there, I hope that helped. And we'll probably touch on that, Lisa, a little bit more. Yeah, send the real estate video. That's very true, Tim. Cool. So that reminds me. So, like, I have to tell you guys, over the last couple of weeks, I've had, like, I sent a note to a guy I did multiple deals with. He was a realtor. He was licensed. He was certified in HUD. I don't know if you know this, but when you buy HUD properties, HUD-owned property, they changed the rules. You had to be HUD certified. You had to go through the certification. Then you could be an agent for a buyer on a HUD home. Then they had the HUD back in the beginning was in the crash. They were owning so many properties, the Housing and Urban Development. I mean, they were deals like you guys, like crazy. And I was buying HUD homes through this guy. And And, you know, we could put $100 down or $1,000 down, but and we had a 45-day inspection period was the rule, and it was fully refundable after 45 days. We could wholesale it. We could do, thanks, Megan. We could do anything we wanted with it. And they changed the rule now. Now your earnest deposit goes hard immediately, and there's a few more rules, and, you know, they want to sell, and there's not a many home. Anyway, my long story short is I reach out to them like, hey, man, you've seen this information. Have you ever thought about it now more than ever? Whatever I said to him, there's a Facebook message. And he's like, yeah, I'm interested. And he goes, what's the price? And he's already been the information. So after, it's been a while. So I immediately told him the price, right? I said, it's 20, because this was my tagline. My tagline was, hey man, for someone like you, he's a realtor, he's a go-getter, but he's not an investor. Like, he understands the power of real estate, but he wants to get into investing a little bit. He's a good realtor, makes money at it. So he makes it full time. And he goes, I was like, hey man, for a guy like you, Chris, the relationship capital from this community alone and the people that I'm surrounding myself with that are investors, for you as an agent and as an investor, a new investor, is priceless. It's worth 10 times the price of admission. And he goes, what's the price? And I said, it's 20 grand, right? I just went right into it. Whenever you do that, you guys, the odds of you closing the sale, and I knew this, are not very good. Why? I don't care if they were there last week or last month or a year ago. There's not enough value, right? There's no value. Most car commercials don't even put in the price. If they do, they do it at the end very quickly with a bunch of determinations, and they give the price for the guy with an 850 credit score and all that crap, right? They intrigue you with some low lease payment and all that stuff. It has nothing to do with the price of the car. So my point is, they build value in the commercial over and over and over again. So immediately I knew I had to rebut. Once you do that, you have to rebut. Like, you answer the question, the information is given, it's too late. You can't reel them back in. They've already taken the bait right off the hook, and they're gone. The reason they're gone is because you've given them what they need to make the decision they had already made. There's no value. So I had to rewind a little bit. I had to backtrack this guy, and, you know, I had to explain it, break down a little bit. I'm like, listen, it's not just 20 grand, but that's where you want to start, blah, blah, blah. I'm messaging him this stuff. And then, you know, I asked him, you know, don't you want to be the investor? Like, you and I both know, and follow me on a couple of points here. You and I both know that the market, you remember that market? Remember the houses I was buying? We were making offers on houses that were worth 250 grand. We were getting them for 50 grand, 80 grand, 100 grand. We knew we would go up, right? We'd wholesale them and make an extra 20 grand. We'd flip them and make an extra 30, 40 grand. You know, he would make the real estate agent fee on the front side and the back side with HUD. And we probably did, I don't know, 6, 8, 10 deals together with this other investor that I brought into the community back in the day. And I go, you know, wouldn't you have liked to buy some houses? So I had to backtrack. He's like, yeah. And all said and done, after these conversations, he's like, yeah, I'm interested in that. But now's not the right time. I don't remember exactly what his reason was. And he's like, I'm interested. And he even said something to the point where he's like, I just don't see in this time spending that kind of money. Like, right. And again, I had to overcome that objection because it's not an expense, it's an investment. People see this as a cost. So we're going to move on for this one. But my point to this is, over the last several weeks, I've had multiple people tell me no. Okay. For different reasons. People that I thought were going to go ahead and do this, people that have had the money. It is not uncommon. All right. I don't know what about today's, generally speaking, was so powerful, but Bob's right. There's nothing that can't be solved with that problem by putting 100 people, 100 more new people in front of the information. So here's where we're going to go with this. So I just want you guys to know that it's not just you, everyone at every level. Keely did an introduction. I want to just make this point. So I enrolled in the Renatus education in the old company in 2008 as a combo holder. And I immediately jumped into real estate. I was fortunate enough, after I was struggling making any real estate deals come to fruition, I was working on short sales and they were taking longer than I had hoped. And I got into the marketing a little bit, and I became a retail sales marketer. I wasn't looking for anybody to become a business owner, to sell the education. I was just selling the education as a way for them to do short sales, and it fit. And I was able to have I made 4 sales in a matter of like 2 months. Made an extra 20 grand, $18,000, because one girl just bought the gold package, didn't buy like what would now be equivalent to the essentials. And then I had another 2 people come in a little bit later and buy the combo. So I think I made like 38,000 in my first year. And that was 2008. I didn't make much in 2009, maybe another 20 grand. I was a retail sales guy. I got out of Renatus in 2011. It's a whole nother story. It's not this training today, but I didn't ever stop paying my 5-star status. Every year I paid $125, and I just was not marketing. I wasn't going to meetings. I wasn't active at all. I was a real estate investor. I didn't have the education anymore, but there was something in my mind that said, well, I worked for my 5 stars. Why would I ever let it go? And so I didn't. I paid the $125 for 5 years, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I never was part of Renatus. The very first part of 2011, actually, I was. Long story short, but right in the beginning, like if you look back in my back office, there's about 30 grand worth of sales that I had in the first 3 months of 2011. And then something happened, and I had to go in a different direction. So I started getting back into this in 2016. In April of 2016 is when I started to market again. And so I can't remember where I was going, you guys. My mind I probably need drugs, but I don't take them, and I probably should. So where I'm going with this is that what I've found, this is the point of the training, thanks, Anna, is they've been through intro and follow-up already. I was just checking the chats. Where I'm going with this training is this. There's a certain level of commitment. And I started out by saying, you've got to get on the founders webinar, as Keely was saying, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. Like, we really have to think about the commitment that we want to make. Like there's a couple points I want to make. Number one is not everybody is making $10,000 a month, right? In fact, the majority of people in this company don't make the money they could be making on the marketing side. And it's not unrecognized. The top, there's a ton of room at the top. There's a ton of room on Pack. There's a ton of room on Pit. There is an unlimited amount of room. In fact, there's an unlimited amount of room for people to walk across the stage with $10, $20, $30, $40,000 months. I don't know exactly, well, I have an idea of why it doesn't happen more often. Okay. And we're going to talk about it. And we're going to talk about how, like how I've been able to make it happen. So I'm in the last, what would be now 4 years, 17 to 18, 18 to 19, 19 to 20, wait, 16, yeah, 4 years. I think I've made around 500,000 in Renatus as a marketer, maybe 450, somewhere in there. I have to look. And so as a marketer, right? And you can average that out, whatever that comes to, 125 a year on average, 100,000 on average. And my real estate business exceeds that by quite a bit, right? And so Bob recognizes a couple things here. Bob recognizes that is not the case for everybody, right? Those results are not typical. That's why we have these disclosures. That's why the FTC recognizes it as well and say, listen, everybody's sold on this dream, but it never ever comes to fruition, right? So people try to sell the dream by exaggerating, lying if they have to, cheating, right? We don't do that, but you guys get the point. All across the country, people selling this network marketing MLM type of thing. They talk about the results as if it can happen for everybody easily, and that's just not the case. But I will let you know this. Bob mentioned something about the compensation plan and some adjustments he's going to make to it. Bob brought in, whatever the number is, $2 million, $3 million, $1.5 million Helios Helios back office software that he paid for right out of his own pocket, out of what would have been a profit to him from his company. He put it back into the company to pay for the Helios. He brought out the profits course. He brought out profits to start an international version of Renatus. He put this Helios together for a reason. He is constantly bringing value not only to the retail customer, you, the person that wants to own the education, right? I think we all could agree that if he never did anything else to the education and we just were left with what we have, it's worth the 20 grand all day long. If he never ever improves it and he stopped the lifetime and we had to pay for it again, it would be worth the education price alone, right? But he continues to bring value to the education holder, right? But he does that for the marketer. The only way that this system works is if you market, right? And he doesn't want 10 people on the pack or 15 or 500 people making 10,000 a month. That's not his goal. His goal is, in my opinion, this is all left up to interpretation, and I've said this before, is that he does never want to see anybody lose money in real estate. Real estate is a risky business. It's probably not if you'll lose money, it's more when you're going to lose money in real estate. Okay, one way or the other, if you haven't already. And I don't mean just because the market went down. I mean because you bought a property crappily, that you just didn't do your education and you took a risk you shouldn't have taken. You went against somebody's advice. I've done all of these things. So with that said, his opinion would be, his goal would be that you don't quit your job, that you have an income and you create a side hustle with the marketing, right? And with the marketing, you make an extra $10,000. When you make extra money, a significant amount of extra money at the end of the month, if you're paycheck to paycheck and you make 10 grand, all of a sudden you just crushed your goal and you have an extra $10,000. If you don't need the 10 grand, he's trying to teach you not to spend it. He's trying to teach you to invest it. But instead of you giving it to somebody to invest it with, you know how to invest it yourself. You take control of your own investments. Well, there are strategies where $10,000 can buy you a house, right? There are strategies where you can build your credit. You could understand creative acquisitions, all of these different things. And ultimately, he would just tell you to just buy and hold property. Buy property with equity. Buy property with other people's, use your knowledge and other people's credit. Use your relationship capital to capital. That's funny. Write that down. Relationship capital to leverage everybody else's resources. Let them go to risk. You pay them a return, and you control and own the property or the deed. When you do this, you are now creating wealth. You're becoming more attractive. You now have leverageable assets, but you still have an income that covers deficiencies, that covers little bit of problems with rental properties. When you have extra income, then you don't have to waste the time managing your own stupid properties. Stop it, right? I needed to learn how to do that. I managed my properties because I needed every dime I needed out of them. So I didn't want to pay a property manager. So there's a system in place that we skip. Why do we skip it? Because we are so trained and taught from the beginning for instant gratification, for money up front, and there's no sex appeal. There's no instant gratification. There's no love. There's no high five, raise the roof crap when you go out and buy a rental property and you put $5 grand into it or something and you raise the rent by $50, right? There's nothing sexy about that. There's no pictures before and after, none of that, except to the bank and except to your grandkids when they inherit the portfolio you give them. So with that being said, Bob is doing, when I say Bob, I mean the home team and his vision and all that, but Bob is doing so many things to enhance your ability to market the company because he doesn't market the company any other way. There's no way he sells.
I forgot the grass is still wet.
Grow the company. He doesn't sell the education. He doesn't do anything except improve your ability to sell the education. and create more income for the company to make the company better. So he has to enhance things for you, make it better for you so that you can sell. So when we go on the founders webinar, yeah, it's inconvenient. It's 3 p.m. in Phoenix. It's an hour of waste of my time. It's whatever it is, right? But the point, that's all these excuses we have. But yesterday's value was there to learn a little bit about PPP and about unemployment. And you got Mark Cole and Matt Sorensen coming out. If you missed this, you're crazy, but go back and listen to it. But the value there is so much more than just you learning, right? Like you can email Mark and get some information, and that's going to help you if you're trying to get your own employment, if you're trying to get some stimulus and all of that thing. But there's no faster way to getting a stimulus check than enrolling a student for $10,000. The way that you do that with the Founders Webinar is you simply call somebody and you share that recording with them. And you tell them what we're doing to enhance people's lives that own this education, that they are exclusively invited to this Founders Webinar to watch 2 of the most sought after lawyers and CPAs in the country by the SBA themselves, who are providing information for people to get the stimulus checks that they want. That value alone is worth, I don't know, up 25% of our top ticket price for the education for lifetime for 2 people. Like we missed the boat on some of the masterminds, right? When we look at the masterminds, we go to the masterminds for what? We go to the masterminds because we want to learn more about real estate. We want to be a part of a group, belong. We want to mastermind. We want to brainstorm. We want to collaborate. We want to bring our deals there. We want to get money. It's all about us. And it makes sense. That's what it's for. It's for you to develop your real estate investing. However, in theory and in reality, there's enough information and there's enough knowledge for you. And there's enough community events where you can implement your education by talking to the relationships you're building. You don't need a mastermind. The information that you learn at the mastermind is really taught in the education, like by watching it 2 or 3 times. Every way that you can possibly find property, make offers, negotiate deals, negotiate with sellers, yellow letter, knock on doors, create buyers lists. Every possible way that you can possibly find property, acquire property, raise money, buy the property, fix the property, and sell the property is taught to you in the education. I have never ever been to a mastermind until we started them here 3 years ago. I shouldn't say I never went to a mastermind to learn about real estate. I went to the education that I bought because I had 2 years to use it. So every deal that I've done has come from the real estate education, the educators themselves, Tony and Gavin, Johnny Dessauer, Bob Snyder, Chris Wilson, Chris Sullivan. Right? The same freaking people that are doing it now are doing it then. And that's who I learned it from. The masterminds are a sales tool. You're going to gain something from them personally. Go to them. But if you're doing this business as a marketer and you are not marketing the mastermind as a benefit to your new student, then you're missing the point of the masterminds, in my opinion. So I guess what I'm getting at is we're being told that we need to go to these events, right? We go over the list of events where we need to be on this, we need to go to that, we should. That's the same thing if we're telling a prospect what they should or shouldn't do. You're being told and it's not your idea. It needs to be your idea to go to these events and why you're there. And if that's the case, then you may be more intrigued and inclined, rather, not intrigued, inclined and more apt to go ahead and then sell the education and sell these opportunities and all of these events we have, because you're there for a different reason. You're there because you want to be there, not because you know it's what needs to be. When we go to the Super Saturdays and all those things, and we hear that we never miss them, it makes sense. And we've fallen back on that as, nobody Anybody making money does, and because that's the truth. The truth is people making money go to these. It's not the people, you know the saying, I can't even think of it right now, but the Bob Tierney's, the Scott Rose that don't miss these things. There's a reason, and it's true. But the reason they go to them is because of what it's going to do for them to be able to share the information with new prospects. It's not for them to like learn something. I mean, they learn stuff, but it's not for them to learn something new. I hope that makes sense. What I'm getting at is we want to be able to understand what it is, why we're doing something, and what it's going to do for us. And then it doesn't become a burden. It doesn't become a time restraint. It doesn't become something that we have to do. It becomes something we want to do. Cool. I guess you guys got some chats going on. That's good. All right. So I'm going to move forward. Remember, you can interrupt me with just come off mute, interrupt me, or you can type in a question. So let's see what I'm doing. So when you look at what I've done, in order to increase, so I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was around 38,000 my first year in April, my first year in 2016. Then it was like 74,000 or 72,000, 73,000 in the second year. Then it was like 120,000 or 108,000 in the third year. Last year was 158,000. So those are my 4 years, roughly, give or take 10% or so on those numbers. And there's a commitment level that was made in 2016 for me to get on PIT, for me to become a marketer and make that a priority, make that a full-time business. And I reflect back now, and it's just not true. Like, I was never really committed. I stayed with what I knew, which was real estate. I stayed flipping houses. I committed to that as a fallback. I knew that was where my bread and butter was. I knew that's where I made my money. We are going to do that here. There's a reason we do real estate. There's a reason we try to do real estate and we don't go after the money marketing. There's a reason that we have a belief in the real estate. I'm living proof of it, right? I knew more than anybody that real estate worked. I knew that I could make a crap ton of money in real estate and create wealth through real estate. And I have never experienced the types of numbers that are taunted by the top 10% or top 1% for that matter of the marketers. So what I had experienced is probably the top 1% of real estate investors in the company, right? So for there, why would I exchange one for the other? Well, I would add one in, and I would tell myself and tell everybody else I'm committed to doing it. But my actions did not speak louder than my words. It's the same with all of us. There's a certain amount of work that we have to do in the marketing that we don't do. And I'm no different than anybody else. The reason is in that there's not one reason, but one of the reasons may be that possibly that it is our belief. It is our belief in instant gratification. When we are constantly inviting people, and look back, I mean, let's be honest. We talk to people. We're not stupid. We're not just not doing this. We're not going to these calls every week and then not talking to anybody. So we are talking to people. We are doing Facebook posts. We are doing things that are attracting some people to us. Then we go ahead and we build for the event or we tell a story. We're not idiots. So we tell a story. We tell our story. We answer questions. We market. We try to sell them into a meeting, and then we try to close them by asking them for the sale and seeing what they want, and we do that, right? The only problem with that is we don't do it a lot. We don't do it enough. We do it once in a while, or we do it once a week with one person or two people. So, and I get it. We don't have great lead sources. We don't spend money on lead sources. That's fine. We're not committed to an hour a day of calls or whatever it is. So with that, we get rejection. We don't make a sale. We don't get the result. We don't get what we're looking for. We then hear of other people around us that also feel the same way. They go to the same meeting, listen to the same people for the same information, and it sucks. Why would I keep doing this? Doesn't make sense. Give me something better. Give me something new. Give me something cool. Give me something I can get from. Let me go to a mastermind.
We go to a mastermind, we talk about real estate. We're not worried about the marketing. There's no rejection in a mastermind. You're not getting rejected. You're not missing out on anything. You're getting something in return. There's more value there for you. Makes total sense, right? So why would you market when you can go to the mastermind and get what you're looking for? You can rely on real estate. You understand that real estate takes time. You understand that the possibility in real estate is if one thing breaks through and you get one wholesale deal done, one real estate deal done, one fix and flip under your belt, your story will change, one buy and hold, your life will change, right? And that is tangible. There's hundreds, and everybody knows that real estate is the top 1% of where people in the top 1% hold their money, make their money. Real estate is it. I'm going to do real estate. It makes sense. Why would you chase this marketing dream that is taunted by the top 1% of all these numbers when it doesn't happen for you? It totally makes sense. The problem is we never gave it the same chance, right? We didn't study the education for the reason of telling people. We studied the education for the reason of doing it, right? The thing is, when we study the education and tell people about the education and we sell the company for what it's really worth, all of the value of all the things that Bob puts together and all of the value of all the things that the people put together that are running the communities, then that's going to bring people into the community that have respect, have businesses, have value, have resources, have money, have time, have all of those things. And then all of a sudden, real estate deals are going to fall into your lap. I promise you. I know this for a fact. Money and things will come your way because you're putting it out in the universe that you're involved in real estate investing. In the meantime, you're gaining the knowledge. You're going through a 4-year program that doesn't take 4 years. But instead, we earn while we learn. But earn while we learn is not go make money in real estate while you're learning how to do real estate. Earn while you learn is go make money selling the education while you're learning how to do it. You don't learn how to do real estate in 2 weeks. You don't. Even if you watch the fix and flip in 2 days and you spend 8 hours a day watching the class, you're not a fix and flipper. There's too many other classes that need to be surrounded about real estate and about investing and about fix and flipping that support the real estate fix and flip classes. So in the meantime, you earn while you learn by inviting and talking to people. So let me talk about what I do. Every month and every year, then every month, then every week and every day, I recommit to this belief. I re-believe in what's possible. Behind my board, every day when I look at it and go, I'm a top 5 income earner, and I look at the Danube cruise, you guys, the first thing in my head is no freaking way. Like it's not physically possible for me to do that. I've never done it. I've never even been in the top 10. I've never been on the top 5 winner circle. I've never been on the pack. Why would that even be possible? Right? Then I think back immediately. I go to London. I go to making 10 grand, right? And there's no reason why it's not possible. And immediately I overcome that fear. With the fact is, why not? Well, why not you? All you have to do is make some sales. Like think about it. It's 40 sales, 400 grand, 40 direct people, 4 people a month. Like start with one. One is 10,000. It's not that hard. Like it's not that hard to get one person. We have 30,000 to buy the education. It's not that difficult. We're on an uprise. So I have to remember, right? So my point is that I can't remember my point. Once again, drugs. So what I do every day is I find myself. This is a doors list. Okay, this is a list of all the doors that I need for my 16th Avenue, my 16th place spec home. I'm going to be done in the next. I can't wait for this thing done. You guys, when I do a tour here, open house, I'm sick. And I've been working on these doors for 2 weeks because there's a little glitch with the guy who I have a credit with at his door company and it got shut down. He's got the slabs, but not the prefabs. I'm going through this. My point is, normally I work this thing to the death. I solve the problem and I move right along instantaneously. But I've had to adjust all the time. When I start to commit to the marketing, I have to wake up and go to marketing. So immediately on my dog walk, instead of calling contractors and lining them up and seeing I am sacrificing time and money in my real estate to make time and money for my marketing. I'm not giving up I'm not ruining my deal. The COVID thing has actually bought me more time on my real estate to do my marketing. My point is, it's every day over the last year, each and every year, I've recommitted. I've reevaluated my last year's commitment and know that I never even committed. I didn't even commit until really 2019, where I finally broke 150 grand and actually had real results in the marketing, right? And so the point is you don't need to make 150 grand in this business. You have a job, you have children, you have a life, get it. But are you then, in a little bit of time left, are you focusing on trying to get a deal done when it hasn't happened? Or if you're a marketer, why not focus on every day I'm making every day I'm raising the dead and I'm giving birth to new people every single day. If I want to hit this goal, I've got to get about 500 people through the system this year, right? Like in front of the information. And if it's warm market, maybe I can dial that down 50 people. And I got, let's just say 50% of 50 people is 100 really good people, right? That's not going to be. So maybe 25%. So I really need 200 solid, best friends, colleagues, real estate investors through the system. 200 really good people, not 500 cold market people, right? So, or I've got to have a blend of all of the above, right? So I know what my number is. So folks, we've got to look at what we're doing every day and think about our belief system and decide. And Keo Jones did an amazing job of training this yesterday. And if you can't force yourself to do it, get somebody else to hold you accountable. Get somebody else to force you to do it. But decide on what your true commitment level is to this marketing. And I'm not saying you're not committed. You're here. You're at the Thursday nights. You're placing Facebook. You guys, you are doing what you need to do. You're doing what needs to be done. But your belief in doing it, if it's not there, if you're not speaking with conviction, if you're not speaking with confidence, if someone says to you, I just don't know, I really want the education, but I don't know what to do in this case. I want to wait and see what's going to happen. If you're not capable of saying, I get that, but boy, are you crazy. Like, this is exactly what you want. Why would you not want the information that when the dust finally settles, you are so prepared to take control of your financial life through the education that we offer that you don't care if the market goes up, down, or sideways. You'll know how to buy property at a discount and create wealth over the next 2 years whenever the crash comes. I don't care if it's after the election. I don't care if it's after COVID. I don't care if it's in 3 years from now. You will be prepared to buy property in every single different market, and you will change the projection and the direction of your life financially because you did this. And when you do that, the next time the market crashes, you'll be able to take advantage and you will set yourself up that you'll be giving back and you will never be controlled by a COVID type situation the rest of your life and your kids' lives. If you can't say it with that conviction, then you don't have the belief. You don't have the belief in yourself, the belief in the education, or the belief in the system. So how can you possibly sell somebody on it? There's no way. You're going to accept their excuse because you're considering it yourself. If you had to spend $20,000 right now and someone asked you to do it amongst the COVID, you've got no job, you don't even know how to get your unemployment, you don't know if your job's still going to be there, you don't know if we're going to ever be the same economy again, you don't know if the stock market's going to come back, you just lost 75% or 25% of the stock market, you haven't worked in the job, and someone asked you to put $20,000 down, what would you say? I cannot put my family at risk. I cannot do that to my family. Are you going to buy it? The only way you're going to buy it if someone provides you the value and explains to you what you're so afraid of and helps you overcome that objection. It's a natural fear. But if you don't have the belief in yourself and the belief in the company and the belief in Bob, and you truly don't believe that everybody needs this and that it is their loss if they don't get it, they will end up in the same boat 5 or 10 years from now with the same freaking problem, then you cannot convince them to do it. And you will accept their excuse for not doing it, and they will move on. The way we convict ourselves and convince ourselves and increase our belief, like I do every day, right? Like I convince myself that I'm going to be in the top 5, that I'm going to go on the Danube cruise, is this. I have to plug in. I have to go to a webinar when the last thing I wanted to do yesterday in the middle of the afternoon at 3 o'clock was watch that webinar. right? I did not want to watch that. I'm not getting the PPP, right? I've already got my EIDL. Like I've already done, I'm not filing for unemployment because I don't need it. I don't need the unemployment. I'm not filing for it, right? So, but I did it. And I've had 2 conversations with people about the power of that webinar for my business, right? Not for my own knowledge, not because I needed to learn. I could call Mark or email him and figure it out. I can go online and read the SBA and it tells you exactly how to do it, right? But nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to take the time. But we can tell someone, look at the value that Bob Snyder is providing. He brings on the 2 most sought after individuals in the country, 2 of the top 3 in the country that are teaching PPP, that are actually telling people the SBA what to look for and how people are going to misappropriate these funds. And he's teaching us to how to go. We can go out and take advantage of it and get on the next string of $2 trillion that's coming out or whatever the case is. If that's not valuable as a company, as an asset to somebody looking at doing their due diligence on this, right? We have to believe it ourselves. We have to believe it ourselves. And the way we believe is we plug in. The way we plug in is we don't plug in to get something out of ourselves. We plug in not to learn at a mastermind, but we plug in to learn how to be able to sell the mastermind. We plug in to learn how to be able to sell a Michael Huggins, a Dane Clark, a Wanda Castillo, a leader like Kelly Keeley, all of these things. We plug in to build our belief so that we can sell the education, so that we can change our real estate. When you make an extra 10 or 20 grand over the next 2 or 3 months before Leaders Retreat, you will go to Leaders Retreat with cash in your pocket. You will have the knowledge and never have to fix and flip a house and take the risk. Bob could care less if you ever fix and flip. If he probably had his choice, he probably wouldn't even offer to fix and flip. Why? Because it's risky. And he knows that you're going to borrow money from somebody, screw up the deal, and you're going to lose that person's money and not going to be able to pay it back. However, if he doesn't sell fix and flip in our education, then people that don't know this stuff are going to want to buy fix and flip. And if we don't have it, they're not going to buy it. What he'd rather do is just sell you long-term buy and hold, creative acquisitions strategies, and strategies where you build wealth retirement and you retire in real estate and you own businesses. When you do that, you become 1% of the wealthy. What you need to do is you have to have a business that makes you more money. Robert Kiyosaki's plan. You have a business that makes you more money at the end of the month than you need, and then you have the knowledge to take that money and invest it and control your investments yourself. That's it. That's the plan. That's what he does. And that's where people don't have any risk and they don't lose money. And if the market goes up, down, or sideways, it's a long-term investment that they could give a crap if the property's not making money because they brought it with equity. They bought it with a cash flowing property. The rents are coming in and it doesn't matter. It's going to go back up. Then they're going to put it in see-through trust. They're going to put it in long-term wealth. They're going to put it in pass-through investment strategies where it passes on and the wealth, and there's no capital gains. There's no inheritance tax. There's none of those things. There's no probate, and it goes on for generations. And in the meantime, you keep your job because you can get a W-2 job. You can then get a loan. You can get the best rates on things. You can refinance property. You can get business credit. You can run your business for a couple of years, have non-recourse loans, take out your refinance all your personal loans, and you're set for life. And that's what he would teach you. And he offers you a business that can create a 6-figure income, but we refuse to believe it's possible. If we did, we would all do it. He doesn't want 100 people on this call making $10,000 a year. Anyway, that's my training for today. That's what I'm doing. That's what I believe in. I cannot wait to say that I only flipped 4 or 5 houses this year, because I cannot wait to say I made $400,000 in the marketing. I grew my team by 50 more people, and my 50 more people, 20 of them got 5-star qualified. Like, that is my dream. That is what I want to do. And then I want everyone. I have people on my team that own multiple rental properties. They're not even, they're buying, buy and hold in short-term rentals. It's super cool. It's so much sexier to me than a fix and flip and $100,000 on a property that may or may not come to fruition. Trying to wholesale a piece of land that is $1.5 million that may or may never come to fruition, and you will work on it over and over again and taking these big risks. Awesome. Thank you, Lisa. Thanks, Donald Croyle. You are awesome, buddy. We got to get on a phone. I know you're just getting out of your deal. So let's make that happen. We are almost done with Campbell Boy. Another week and we're good. Preach, James. Thank you. I'm sorry. I don't mean to preach. You're welcome, David and Hilda. I love you guys. Right on. Keo Jones, you're so amazing. Great training yesterday. Amen. Sheena, as always. Amy Hender, thank you. Yes, fire. I love it, you guys. Sheena, let's keep it up. Okay, you guys, that's it. It's 8:07. I always go too.
Bill.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. All right.
Excellent. Thank you, everybody. I hope this helped. Recommit. I wish I got to give more details on exactly what I do, on what I say to people. I will tell you, I get a rejection. I get people say no. I try to overcome their objection. I try to say the right thing, but you can't say the right thing to the wrong person. And sometimes timing is everything. Eric, my neighbor, you guys have been talking about him for 7 months. I don't even know how long. He said no. Like, he literally finally said no because I gave him the option, say no. I took it away from him. He said no. Like, I'm not closing Eric. Like, I don't even want to erase him from my board. It happens. So what? Next. It's okay. Like, we all get it. But if you got 20 Erics, you don't care about the one. I mean, you care about the one Eric, but it's not going to ruin your business. So get more Erics, get more people. Cool. So Bill, you were saying the marketing Renatus is our biz, that we make more than we needed and just put that surplus in a rental property. That's what I believe, Mike. That's absolutely what I believe. I'm not saying, here's the thing, when you're doing real estate and you're looking for deals and you're studying the education and you're inviting people to this prospect, to the opportunity here, fix and flip properties are going to come your way. Wholesale properties are going to come your way. You will fix and flip property because there's going to be some deals that you don't even want to own the property, but there's so much margin in there. It's going to happen. You're going to have the knowledge. The coolest thing about this is you don't have to spend your time looking for a wholesale deal, knocking on doors, sending out yellow letters, doing all these. You can spend your time marketing to people who are doing that for you because they're out doing what the gurus in the self-education taught them to do. Start out with wholesaling, get into fix and flip, try to raise money, go talk to your friends and family for money, build a buyer's list. They're doing all the things that the gurus are teaching them to do, and all you're doing is finding them into this position. Once you find them, they've got all these resources and the deals. When you have the more knowledge, when you have better knowledge, when you have better resources and better experiences from people in your community, you'll be able to put the pieces of the puzzle that are missing for that individual into the deal that they already have, and then you'll be doing a deal. You will naturally do more deals the more people you invite onto your team. The bigger my team, the more deals I do. I did not want to do 18 deals last year, but my entire team was trying to do deals because they came into the business wanting to do deals and having resources, right? Then I converted them all to marketers, right? Because we understand, but they've all gone and done their deals and we've done deals together. And that's great. I love doing deals. Everybody wants to do deals. But if you're concentrating on marketing and you don't focus on trying to find deals, find money, or find wholesale deals and knock on all those things, you can take all that energy and time, put it in your education and put it into the marketing, and naturally you're going to get both. You're going to be able to eat your cake and have your, what is that called? I don't know. Frosting, cake, and ice cream. I don't know. You get it all. So yes, Mike, that's what I'm saying.
Have your
Awesome.
cake and eat it too.
Awesome. All right, guys. 8:10. Now I'm 10 minutes too late. All right. Love you guys. Bobby Johnson, you got it.
You on fire, Bill. You on fire.
Thanks,
Thank
Mike.
you, brother.
Let's do this together, you guys. Let's all freaking go to Leaders Retreat with 10 grand in our pocket. Let's all go to the pit in the next 12 months. I mean, whatever you guys dream about and want. I mean, imagine when an extra, like, say this to your, imagine when an extra 10 grand or 20 grand is, like, when, like, 10 grand is hitting my account. I don't know. I think the 29, I don't know what, maybe it was yesterday. It's so cool because I don't even need it, but it's like there's so much power in what, and I can't wait for these two people to start their journey that are enrolling in this education. Like it's just so cool. And yeah, so just imagine what it's going to do for you and go after it and commit to it, recommit to it, and make a call every day. Make an extra one person. Just pick somebody in your Facebook and Facebook message them privately and just ask some intriguing question that is scary to death and just do it. And then if you get a response, before you respond, if you get an objection, text one of your leaders and ask them what to say and then respond. before you respond. Don't try to do this. Frosting cake and ice cream. Absolutely, Amy. Why not, right? It's somebody's birthday today. All right, you guys, make sure it's vegan. No animals harmed in this frosting cake or ice cream analogy. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. I'm very passionate about being vegan, but not killing animals. That's up to you guys. Information is power, right? Okay. And Bobby Johnson, you're awesome. All right, Megan, you're awesome. Love you guys. I'll see you soon. I'll see you next Tuesday. I'll see you tomorrow for Dane Clark. That kid's killing it in every direction. He's re-inspired and he is on fire. He's working with Nate Lambert. They're partners, they're friends, they're colleagues. He's on fire. Listen to him. Hit him up tomorrow. But if there's more people on his call tomorrow than mine, then I'm going to be mad at all of you. I'm just kidding. All right. Love you guys. All right, I'm going to end the meeting, you guys. Take it easy. I think I can, oh, no, I can only, Keely, you got the host controls. I'm going to have you kill the meeting, okay? Are you still there?
I'm here. You rock.
All right. Thanks, Keely. You too. Love you guys.
Bye, everybody.
Everybody. Thank you. Thanks, Bobby. Thanks.